Welcome back to Lily Jean Talks Live. I am here with a super cool guest. His name is John. Hi, John.
Hi,
Hi. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Lily. How are you doing?
I don't know. It's been getting like really cold and windy. I'm praying for snow. We're in a drought right now. But you're in Cali, right? So like you're used to droughts.
We're used to droughts, but it's getting in the evenings down to like 49, 48, and that's cold for us.
Oh my God. Wow, would you survive up here with like 20 degrees? Probably, right? You're from the East.
Well, it's funny you said that. When I lived in Colorado, I was one of the last houses on the road before it turned into the national forest up in the mountains. And one night
Oh,
I came home, it was 37 below zero in my house, and it was 35 below outside.
oh,
And because I
whoa.
didn't have any heat, I had to live by firewood. So I was always chopping firewood and, trying to keep warm. And so I understand what it's like to be really cold, and I'll pass on it. Thank you.
I've never understood. Do I want to be hot? Do I want to be cold? I'm just kind of in between. I don't know. But I'm really surprised because like you're an Emmy nominee. Ooh, can we talk about that? That is really impressive. I mean,
Sure.
what is it like? Like what is that like? Not everybody in their entire lives reach that amazing like top tier, top of the line.
It's an interesting question because I'm one of these people that loves to work, and I focus on the work at hand, and I do my
Okay.
best on every job, no matter how big or small. And when I got the nomination for it, I went, "Oh, that's cool." And I got up the next morning and said, "Okay, what's my next job?" It was,
Did it just
I've won a lot.
Oh my God, you remind me of these
I've,
celebs who
I've
just
got
have
eight.
their trophies around. Like you'll find it in their bathroom, their trophy. Oh yeah, that's just a Grammy. Whatever.
Well, if you start taking the awards too seriously,
Hmm,
then I think there's a disconnect in who you are as a human.
true.
And I don't want to lose who I am as a human being over the fact that I've won eight awards and best director on films and blah, blah,
Only
blah.
eight
I
words.
want to remain, yeah, just eight.
Dude, that's it.
But Spielberg beat me out of my Emmy. He beat me out. And I don't like the guy because of that. I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, that year I was up against him and a bunch of other people, and so I got nominated, but he got the Emmy. And I'm sitting there screaming at the TV, going, "You don't have enough awards? You couldn't let me have one?"
Okay, so a little bit of it did get to you. You were like, "Hey, hey."
Yeah. And then the next morning, as I said, I got up and said, "Okay, what's next?"
You know what? It's really cool to get a nomination though, anyways, because it just I know that these sort of like shows are to make people in the industry feel good about themselves very much. And it boosts sales, like, oh, this is an Emmy nominated, director who's on this. So people are like, yeah, I want to see that. So it has its effects, but oh, it's very cool,
Yes.
John. Come on.
I'm not going to deny it's cool. It is cool. And I'm very proud of my accomplishment, but I don't want that to be who I am.
Love that. So you do things about like mental health, right?
I
Like
do.
like talking about it. How does this tie into things with like film? Have you ever done a film with like incorporating like a documentary with this or no? Never thought even.
No, but I wrote a book called When the Rain Stops, which is my
Okay.
journey from a ghetto kid to a successful Hollywood director.
Love that.
And when you ask about, mental health in
Hmm.
what I do, I'm a life experience mental health expert. I'm not a
Very
therapist or a practitioner. But what I did do is I took all of my pain and a journey and applied it to my career so that when I work with people, I'm very cognizant of who they are, what their process is, and how do I encourage them to be the best that they can be. So I think the journey really opened my eyes up to humankind and not arrogance and ego. And I think that that's benefited me in my career because when my wife was still my girlfriend, getting to be my fiance, she was on a set talking to a bunch of people. Like, she told me this, I wasn't there. And they said, "Yeah, man, have you ever worked for John Callas before?" And she goes, "Well, actually, I'm his fiance." No kidding. I'd do anything to stay working for that guy. He's so cool. Blah, blah. And I think it started when I decided that um, everyone should get paid because I want to get paid. I want to be
Yeah,
paid for what
true.
I do. And why shouldn't they get paid? So
Right.
I don't play that flesh game where I'll put in X amount of dollars for a crew member, but I'll offer them less. I offer them and I say, that's all I got in the budget. If you don't believe me, I'll show you the budget.
Right,
And
right.
when my crew started realizing that, because I showed them a budget once and I said, oh, you didn't lie to us. I said, and I never will. And I could call them, let's say their rate's $300 for a day. I'll make up something,
Mhm.
okay? And I have a really low budget thing going on. I'll call them and say, hey, all I got is $175. I said, when do we start? No questions asked because they know if that's all I can offer them and they're not doing anything, they'd rather have that money than say, no, I'm not going to do it unless you give me my 300.
Right.
And they know that I'll take care of them on the
They
next one.
trust you though. They trust you.
And that's not an easy thing in Hollywood.
Yeah, obviously. But you have like a resume of work. I mean, come on. You've done some major
50
features.
years,
Yeah, but you do like different things, which I really like. You did some commercials. It's pretty cool.
I've done a documentary in Russia. I've done commercials. I was one of the first doing MTV. I've done feature films. I've done television. I've done series. Uh, it's an interesting you said that because a lot of people specialize either in commercials or
Right,
this
right,
or that.
right.
And early in my career, I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm
Right.
going to be all across the board because if one part of the industry slows down, I have this other part that can keep me working.
Brilliant.
And it turned out to be really beneficial.
I love that. So, okay, I was looking around and I saw that you have Christmas Voices. How is that project going and what is it about? Because I am feeling very merry, the holidays, and I want to see what this is about.
Well, this is a very special project to me. It all started when I was first in dating Linda, my wife.
Okay.
She said, let's go down to the department store. I want to show you these cute little porcelain buildings that are Charles Dickens Village. And you can put a little train around the tree. I said, oh, okay. So I would have done anything to get in bed with her. So I said, sure.
Oh my God,
So,
John. Damn. Is Linda
hey,
really hot?
admission, it's true.
Is Linda like really, really hot?
In my opinion, she is, and she still is after
Good
33
answer.
years of marriage. So, yeah. I'm afraid she's listening. No, anyway, so we go down there and we look at these things. And then the following year, we added a few more pieces and a few more
Right.
pieces. And then we had kids and we moved into another place and we put it on the floor, which was about 10 feet long. And they sat there with their pacifiers spinning, watching the train go around and around and around. Then it got to the point where I built a 4x8 platform on the side of the room that we're in, and we built the village there. Then it got too big and I bid two 4x8s. And currently, when we do set it up, it takes 9 weeks, so we don't do it every year. It
Okay.
is 5.5 feet wide and 22 feet long. And it sits on our
Ooh.
living room. And I
Oh,
created all
wow.
these lighting. Yeah, it's a big deal. I'll send you a link after the show, and it'll show you like a 30-second pan of the village that we did 2 years ago. It's got trains and gondolas and skiers and hand carved mountains and snow and so getting back to your question. So I was sitting there one night and I was playing with the trains.
Okay.
Okay, by admission, I had a few drinks, maybe more than a few.
Ah.
And I started and I'm looking and I'm thinking, this means so much to me because I'd really like to live in this village. It's just so freaking
Aw.
peaceful and loving and
Right.
beautiful and all the
The good
because
memories.
Linda always takes, yeah, it's good memories. Linda always takes the people and makes little stories. So she just doesn't put people in there. Every little piece has a story in it.
Oh,
I mean, we have the
brilliant.
wolves looking out. It's just incredible. And
Wow.
um, so a friend of mine said, why don't you write a story about this? Hmm, okay. So I started thinking about it and I thought, what's the value in this story?
Hmm.
And I thought, what about the village has these um, needs, whether it's like
Okay.
Charles Dickens needs or whatever. And I started thinking about crossbreeding it between It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol. So I created the modern day Scrooge. So it starts out with a kid on a farm that doesn't have a pot to piss in. Excuse my French. I didn't mean to use the word pot. And he's poor, and because of his lack of money, and his family's money, his mother dies. And he
Okay.
swears to all of the figurines in the village that he's going to be the most powerful, wealthiest person in the world, and he's going to cure all the problems.
Oh.
30 years later, he is literally one of the richest men in the world. He's got all these things, loves his family, but he ignores them because he's so focused on his business.
Oh no.
Well, they get into a terrible car accident. They may not live. He starts drinking, and because he refused to build the village because he was too busy with his work. So he decides in his drunken stupor, he's going to build the village. And when they come home, they're going to be really happy because the kids have been bugging him for years and he keeps ignoring them. Well, he falls asleep on the platform building it because he's so drunk. And when he wakes up, he's inside the village. And now he has no money and no power. And he has to find a way to make restitution to all of the promises he made to these village
Oh, that's brilliant,
figurines.
John.
Yeah,
So,
thank
are
you.
you planning to sell this to a major studio or you're going to go indie with this project?
Well, I did a budget. We've done a schedule. We've done a pitch package. And I'd rather do it independent than go to a studio because they're going to take it over and that'll be disappear.
In your
They're going
concept.
to get rid of me. And
Yeah.
they'll take the concept and run with it. I don't want it destroyed. It's too much of a powerful story to let it go. And everybody who's ever read it has called me and said, "You made me cry." I said, "Did you buy the book or did I, oh, you're going to make me cry?" They said, "No, I bought the book."
Buy the damn book. Like, what the hell? You want this movie? Buy the book. There you go.
That's right. Yeah, so I did the adaptation of that. Then I did another adaptation of another novel um, called No Solicitors, and I made it into a film
2015, right?
starring
I
Eric
think I saw
Roberts.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I made it into a film starring Eric Roberts. And
Hmm.
then all of a sudden, I started getting a reputation for an adaptation guy. And Howard Kazanjian, who was vice president of Lucasfilms for 9 years, got me in touch with the New York Times bestselling novelist who wrote this novel called Lightning. When it's Lightning Strikes Twice, and
Okay.
so they brought me on board to write the adaptation, which I did, and they're now out trying to sell that. And then I got in touch with another group that said, "Hey, would you consult on this novel?" And I said, "All right, tell me about it." So they tell me I fell in love with the idea. Now, they had told me that they had tried several times with scripts and they kept falling apart and directors and all that. I said, "Would you mind reading our last script?" So I did. And she said, "What do you think?" I said, "I got 10 pages of close it because I couldn't read it. It was horrible."
Oh,
And so she said, "Well, what's wrong with it?" I said, "Everyone's starting this film at the end and then saying 2 years earlier. When you start a film like that, it's TV. If you want to tell a real story, if you start at the end, you've given away the ending, there's no buildup." I said,
right,
"This is a
right.
linear story." So we hired a writer. That didn't work out because she went straight for the other thing, like let's start at the end.
Okay.
And so my producing partner, Jana out of Atlanta, says, "You're really a good writer, aren't you?" I said, "Oh, here we go." So, she
Okay,
said, "How
okay.
about you write it?" All right. So one thing led to another. I went from consulting to now I'm the writer, director, and producer on the project. And it's been a little over a year and a half that we've been working on developing this thing. We've got great script coverage on it. It's a thriller called Ageless, and it's all
Okay.
about the blue zones. And if you don't know about the
What are
blue
the blue
zones, it's
zones?
really interesting. Okay, there's about eight of them around the world,
Okay.
and they're scientists are trying to figure out why people in the blue zones live longer than everyone else.
Shut
What are
up,
the
really?
genetics? Yeah, seriously, they live over 100 years old. So what these criminals do is they capture eight of these kids, not kids, but adults who are direct descendants of the people that are living in the blue zone and start doing these god awful experiments on them and trying to
Oh.
crossbreed them so that they can create the perfect babies and sell them on the black market.
Oh shit. Oh my God. It's the designer babies. They
Yeah,
do like for real. Like, oh my God.
it's it's designer babies through DNA.
Oh, you blow my
Okay,
mind. Oh my God.
so where we're at with that now is that my producing partner and I have been working on this over a year and a half. We got a schedule done. And she said to me, "Okay, if you're going to come on board, what do you want? Do you have any demands?" I said,
Right.
"No, I have some requests. And my
Hmm.
request is we do this old school." And she goes,
Okay.
"Meaning?" I said, "We do it the right way. We don't just
I like that.
throw spaghetti at the wall and put numbers in a budget and hope it sticks. we're going to do a schedule. And she goes, why? I said, good question. I said, because if you make a schedule, you know day by day what the requirements are for crew, cast, equipment, location,
Yeah,
cameras, and all that stuff. And you can then put that, extrapolate that, and put it into a budget. And the budget is realistic. So if any investor looks and says, what's this for? I can say, we have a bid for that. And
right,
if you'd like to talk to them, here's their phone number. You can verify that the numbers are what we said it is.
right.
So in 50 years of filmmaking, when I've had control of a budget, unless the client asks for something, I've never once gone over budget because it's that detailed of a budget. I mean, I get it down to ashtrays on the set, everything.
How does your brain work, John? I mean, you're you're you really are so detail oriented, and it's not many times you really find people who you love your craft, but you're going like above and beyond for your craft. You're also that business side of it. Like, how do you manage all these projects coming up all over the place? People saying, "Can you look at my script? Can you do this for me?" Like, does it just work for you? Like, it's just, I'm John. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Honestly, I don't know. I just do it. It's
Love
it's
that.
something I love problem solving.
Mm,
I love trying to figure out how to do things. Yeah, I can give you an example if you like.
sure.
Okay. Because I love problem solving, I got
Mhm.
called and they said, we want you to be able to shoot a live concert, a music concert called
Serious?
Sticks. Yeah, Sticks in Atlanta, but we want you to shoot it in eight film cameras. I said, well, that's not possible because you need the clapper. They said, you go figure it out.
Okay.
So I so I went to New York, talked to my friend at the New York record plant, and I
Okay.
said, when you record a musician, if he makes a mistake, how do you fix something like that? He goes, oh, if you look at the reader on the tape, there's numbers going. Today's standards, it's called simply time code. It's a standard. Nobody even thinks about it. It's just a given. But
Right.
back then it was like nobody knew about it. I said, so what do you do? He goes, I can do frame accurate punch in, re-record it, put it back together on a different track, blend it in, you'll never notice it. I said, can that be pushed out to a monitor? He goes, yeah, but you'll need to get a distribution app. So I flew back to LA, went to Warner Brothers and to their engineering department, explained what I was doing. They go, yeah, it's going to be about $300 to make it for eight cameras. So I said, okay. So I hook all that up. The concept is this. When the tape starts rolling in the audio truck, it's generating the time code. That time
Oh,
code goes out to every monitor in the audience, all eight stations. The cameraman, unsynced with each other because you don't want to run out of film at the same time, starts on the monitor with the SMPTE time code running, hands up on the stage, and you got an automatic slate.
oh shit, that's smart.
Scorsese was doing the same thing with The Last Waltz at the same time.
So
And
did he copy you or just coincidence?
I'm not even going to go there.
Hmm.
I think it was a lovely coincidence.
Nice coincidence, that's all.
Yeah, but at least I figured it out.
That's brilliant. Music is difficult. I didn't know you went into music too.
I did. I worked with a guy named Robbie Patton who wrote "Hold Me," which was the number one song for Fleetwood Mac. And one night he came over, we're hanging out, and he looks, he goes, "Whose guitar?" And my wife says, "John's." He says, "Play something." I said, "No, I don't play. No, 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 I'm not doing that."
Hmm.
So a bottle of vodka later, he goes, "Let's play the music." I said,
Oh
"All right,
no,
man."
no. So did you?
So I played him some some lyric, not lyrics, rhythms. I like rhythm. I'm not a good lead kind of guy. I'm a rhythm guy. And he said, wait, go back and do this and do that, do this. Next
Okay.
thing I know, we recorded six songs.
Damn. You must have
I
felt like so like because it wasn't your comfort zone at first.
actually that wasn't, but when years ago when I was younger, I played saxophone in a band. So music was in my blood. It's just, if you don't have a passion for something, at some point you have to say, I love doing this, but I don't wake up every morning and play sax or play my
Right,
guitar.
right.
It's not there for me. So I recognize it and I stayed with the sax and I stayed with the guitar. And then I picked up sitar and harmonica and a couple other things. And um,
Whoa. Oh
Yeah.
my
So
God. You're like, okay, Justin Bieber plays like a lot of instruments. I know it's gonna sound funny, but he plays a lot of instruments, and a lot of people don't give him credit for that. They just think like, he's the baby singer, but he plays so many, and it's not very common for somebody to play that many instruments and be very good at them. So that's amazing, John.
yeah, I enjoy it. It's to me at night when Linda goes to bed, that's my wife. I'll come in my office and I'll pick up either my six or 12 string and I'll start playing something and she'll come down to, what's that song? I said, what song? She goes, what were you just playing? I said,
Right,
I
right.
have no idea. She goes, why aren't you recording this stuff? It's good. I said, why aren't you in bed and leave me alone?
Oh my God, you know what? She has your best interest. Clearly, she's thinking. She's thinking for you. That's
Yeah,
good.
she is. Yeah. So I don't know, it just kind of starts flowing out of me and I don't think about it. I'm just playing. And after a while, I'm just listening. I'm not a participant. I'm just a listener.
Oh,
And
that's
it
great.
just goes. Yeah, it's wild.
You know what? Acoustic, is very popular nowadays. Maybe in your future, maybe you'll do something like that. It's like very popular
Probably now.
on Spotify. Come on, it's really look, just a little seed. There it is. And maybe maybe in the future. I know acoustics, people love it. So if you're really that good, I don't know. Maybe you're not that good. I don't
Oh no, I'm good.
know. Okay, so now Mr. Confident comes out. Okay.
I'm good at what I do. And look,
Yeah,
let me explain it this way. There are guitar players like Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, and all the greats, right? They're guitar players.
right.
I play guitar.
Got it.
So there's a huge
Play it.
distinction there.
Got it. Yeah, okay.
I can write melodies and not melodies, rhythms that Robbie will come in and take out 12 of my chords that I think are beautiful. And he goes, they're useless. And we got to have some room for the vocals. And we reshape it. And he writes the lyrics to it, and it becomes a really symbiotic relationship. And the way this happened, which was really funny, he said, we've got to figure out a way to record this stuff. I'm going to London for a month. I'll be back.
Okay.
I said, okay. He goes, I said, what do they normally record it on? He goes, Pro Tools. I said, okay. So he leaves and I get online, go, Pro
Hmm.
Tools, what's Pro
What's
Tools?
wrong?
And so I download Pro Tools and I'm sitting there with the manual and I'm reading it and go, okay. And I'm trying to sit down. Okay. Yeah. Wow. He comes back, he goes, so we got to figure this out. I said, no, I got to figure it out. I set up something in the basement. We've got a studio. He goes, wait a minute. I've been gone for 30 days. You're telling me you learned Pro Tools in 30 days? I said, well, I wouldn't go as far as saying I've learned Pro Tools. I think I've learned it enough so we can record and do a basic mix. He goes, I got to see this. That's not possible. So we went down the basement and we started
Okay.
playing and we recorded it and I played it back and I put in some stuff. He goes, okay, what add-ins do you have? And I told him this. He goes, give me those add-ins. And then we started adding tracks in. The next thing he knows, he goes,
Oh
30 days and you learn this? That's not possible.
Oh my
I said,
God. Yes, it is.
problem, problem solving.
Oh my God. John, what is your like astrology sign? Do you know?
Dollar. No, it's
The dollar bills for us all.
I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, my dad is one too. So inquisitive, and he was a drummer. So
Ah,
yeah, so maybe I don't know, maybe Aquarius it just happens to be like so inquisitive though, so that you remind me of him a little bit. So um I was kind of like, what is John? So what do you have coming up that you could share with people? Super secret, but you could share a little bit. Anything?
well, Ageless, which is the thriller we talked about. I'm
Right.
trying to get the Christmas voices. I've been approached by another group, and I've got to be careful because I don't know how much they want me to divulge. So I'm going to be very on the edge
Be
on
like
this.
broad and like not even a lot, but like a little.
It has to do with the plight of the American Indian. And
Oh.
it's not about like scenes where they've been raped and all that. It's really about the aftermath of these characters. And the story, the idea has got me by the toe because I have so much respect for the American Indians. And my wife has a little American Indian in her. And we're always going on marches to protect their rights and help them in any way we can. Um, so that's something we're all in discussions about. They want me to direct it, and it all depends on whether they can get it together and stuff. They sent me a script that I had not read, but the concept sounds incredible, and that kind of stuff resonates because it deals with spirituality and all that.
What nation does she come from? She
I don't know. I,
no, you don't.
I don't. She probably told me 100 times, and I keep saying, "Oh, that's great, honey."
My God, John, that is the coolest thing ever for her to be able to actually trace that. That's very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Have any in you?
No, I don't have any Indian in me,
Are you
but
just
she does.
Italian?
No, I'm Greek,
You're Greek? Oh my God. Okay, that
100%.
okay. Italian, Greek, there we go. So so where listen, I live in Queens. The story is right here. You have a lot of Greek and you have a lot of Italian and a lot of good.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Ah, I love that eggplant dip. It's Greek. It's my favorite, I gotta say. Anyways, you're bringing me back to like food heaven. I'm sorry. Sorry, it happens to me sometimes. Um, where can people stay in touch with you? Because I know your website's really good, by the way. It's excellent. You could see the projects lined up, but for you to say, where can people actually find your stuff and be in touch with your new projects? And I know you're doing like a crowdfunding. Is that still active or no?
Yeah, we're doing a crowdfunding because we have a group that wants to see a scene that we film at Christmas Voices, and then they will go further with their process and help us raise the money to make the film. I have a website, johncallas.com, CALLAS.com. I'm very open to discussion, helping people out. Matter of fact, a woman on Instagram reached out to me because she knew I was a mental health expert. And she said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Sure." She goes, "How much would it cost for an hour?"
You
I
said
said, "How
never.
about nothing?"
Yeah, I
Exactly.
figured. I know you because you remind me of my dad. Like, so I knew this is nothing.
Yeah, I
You just
couldn't do
care
that to
about
somebody who,
people. You just care.
yeah, of course.
It's just
You give where you can.
right, exactly. John, you might be like the nicest guest I've ever had on. People are nice, but there's a certain vibe about you that's genuine and very natural and real. And I love that because you just don't see it too often. You really don't. So I really appreciate you coming on Lillee Jean Talks Live and sharing all this. You seriously have no idea. It's not so common.
Thank you. I don't know how to respond to that. It's funny because I'm one of these people that I love giving, and when it comes back,
You're
I have a
like,
hard
I
time.
don't know what to
It,
say. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Compliments. I hate them. But you know what? I wouldn't be Lily unless I complimented. So there you go. I'm an
I,
Aries, John. I'm an Aries,
ah,
So it's just in my nature.
so I told my wife one night about an idea I had, and she's looking at me. I said, "Why are you looking at me like that?" She goes, "I got to ask you a question." I said, "Sure, what, honey?" She goes, "Where does your mind wander off the reservation to come up with these ideas?"
Okay.
I said, "No idea. Just it
It just
goes, and I just
does.
follow it where it's going."
It it's because you're inquisitive. It's because you know what you want, you're thinking about it, you're creating it in your head, and you know what's right, what feels right, and what looks right because of expertise and all the years of doing it. So that's where it goes. That's where it goes,
Well,
Linda. It's going to great places of creativity.
th- this came out of a conversation I was telling her about a novel that I wanted to write, which I finished, called The Myth. And she goes, "What's this about?" I said, "Well, when I was younger, I always felt like something kept pulling me, and I could never understand what. And then one night I realized what it was because I was watching a Nat Geographic's thing about salmon going upstream, and they were spawning. They were going back to their home. And I realized maybe there's a pull to outer space to where I come from, and I want to go back home. So I created this whole world of 2 seconds out of our dimension and our universe of two warring planets that had to try to find a way to be peaceful. And they came into our solar system during the
Oh,
evolution of mankind, which created Adam and Eve, Atlantis, and all of the mythology of the Greek mythologies. And I put this into a screenplay, a novel, and now I'll put it into a screenplay. But it's just, and she's looking, she goes, "You're crazy." And she goes to
I
bed.
love it.
Yeah.
This would be a good concept for like animation. For some reason, it reminds me of something that maybe could be something like that, or something highly cinematic. But it would have to be done really right. Like Avatar is really right. It has to be like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is one of those projects I'm keeping really tight to the vest. You know, it's like it hasn't been published. I don't want to
Want
necessarily
to cut
publish
this
it.
part out so nobody
No, no,
steals your idea?
no,
Okay, okay.
no. If somebody wants to steal it, they can, because there's been a lot of films made where people come from other planets and they come in and have, but they don't have what I have in it, which is all of the mythology and how it's structured.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I mean, look, you can tell a million love stories, boy meets
Yeah,
girl,
yeah,
girl
yeah.
meets boy, they fall in love.
Mhm.
But it's where you're setting it, the tone, how you develop the characters and all that. So I'm not afraid of that.
Oh, I like that. I'm not afraid of them. So,
No.
Pisha. So, what is your favorite Greek mythology before we go? I'm now kind of curious about that. Like, favorite one, because I have one, but I want to hear yours first.
Tell, tell me yours, because I don't think I have one, honestly.
I love Estrella. I love the story of Estrella because I love how she brings the golden age and she feels like mankind just kind of like fucked up. And here she sacrificed herself for all these humans, so be us. And
Huh,
I love the mystery shrouded in will she return one day? Are the humans worthy of her? I love it. It's an interesting story. And
nice.
she's justice in a way too, so I love that.
I should have put her in my novel.
Credit me
Maybe a
with that,
rewrite.
John. Credit me because here it is. It's filmed.